Hi, I'm Michelle Fondin, and you should give me a rose.
No, I'm Mathieu Fondin, and you should give me a rose.
This is On a Cloud, a mother and son bachelor podcast, and welcome to episode 10 of our podcast. I can't believe this is episode 10.
Yeah. Hello. Welcome into our home. We're going to open the door for you, lay out a welcome mat, and you're going to bring yourself and your little beau right up in here. We're going to judge them, aren't we?
Yes, we are.
We're going to tell Chris Harrison exactly what we think about these little boys and whether or not they should be marrying our sweet Becca.
Yeah, so we are at our hometown episode in Becca's season 14 of The Bachelorette.
Yes.
Which is episode 8 of Becca's season. And
Hometowns is always the third to last episode, since there are always 4 contestants, then one gets axed, then it's Fantasy Suites.
Then it's the
finale.
2 left, and then after the final rose. But usually before that, they do this weird episode. In this case, it would be Men Tell All.
Oh no, I forgot about Men Tell All.
Oh, this is a crazy one.
Oh no, I lived in this wonderful universe where the Men Tell All didn't exist.
Yeah, and of course, Ari's season, it was Women Tell All, and it's kind of like...
We didn't explain this in the rules, did we?
No,
Because
but
awful.
It's the tattletale episode where they talk about what went on in the house, the Bachelor Mansion.
It's basically like the villain's final screaming shriek before they die episode.
Yeah, and it's really crazy because I kind of feel in Becca's season that the villains were not super exacerbated, so...
Chris kind of sucked, but yes, I do agree with you.
And the Men Tell
the
All...
arcs were short.
Yeah, and I just don't think in the Men Tell All there's going to be a lot of drama going on.
I agree with you. This one will be fine to watch.
Yeah, I'd be okay.
But Ari's, I would not watch it. You could give me $80.
You didn't
I wouldn't
watch it. In fact,
I didn't watch it. Of course
I watched
didn't.
it after the fact. But
it sounds friggin' awful.
Yeah, you didn't watch it, and...
You said it was all like Viviana vying for screen time and Crystal being horrible.
Crystal, yeah, mostly Crystal.
Crystal show.
It's kind of the Crystal show.
Yeah, and also Rachel's was awful because of Lee, although you said apparently it was okay.
Mm-hmm. But also because, like,
so
Peter was...
Oh,
that was the weird... But that was...
Peter wasn't there. That was after the final rose.
That's true.
I watched that, so I know all about that. So the Men Tell All / Women Tell All is basically where all the past contestants come over in front of a live studio audience. They show a bunch of clips from the past season, and Chris Harrison roasts the boys on what they did or why they left or what happened.
It's kind of interesting. And usually they have their favorite picks. He calls it the audience's favorite picks, or usually the ones that got the most time on Twitter or Facebook. And those are the ones that are usually on stage. It's not all of the contestants. It's usually just like the favorites are on stage.
Yeah, the most popular ones. Not
the
like
most popular.
Hi, I'm Eric. I got cut first episode.
Yeah, we don't really know who that guy is. So.
And then at the end, the batch comes on, and they get to ask the batch questions, and the batch gets to talk to them. And it's usually like, "Why didn't you love me?" And she's like, "I don't know.
I didn't know you."
And then it just sucks. Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy, but it's interesting TV.
We'll be covering
watch.
it.
It's
we have
reality TV at its worst.
Yeah, absolutely.
I guess.
But that's for next week. For this week, it's hometowns, which means that all of the boys are going to be taking Becca to their hometowns.
Yeah, and it's not Becca's hometown this time. Usually that only happens the last episode, right? Or the before last episode?
It is, no,
it's
finale.
The last episode.
Usually. But Ari broke that rule because he took Crystal to his hometown second ep.
The first
date they had.
The first date. Yeah, it was crazy. But now we get 4 boys with 4 different hometowns and 4 different families. And this really puts the Bachelorette on the spot because she has to impress 4 different families. And it's also kind of putting the families on the spot, too.
Absolutely it is, yeah.
Yeah, because, the families, as we mentioned last episode, are not necessarily always on board that their child is going to this reality TV show to find love.
Well, or, on board with being on TV, you know what I mean? Or the fact that I'm sure they sign non-disclosure agreement forms and all that. But at the same time, it's a matter of the boys all auditioned for this. They volunteered for this. And then their parents just kind of get dragged in because they're like, well, my kid's going to get married to some lady dating 9 other men. And, all right.
Yeah, it's really a little bit awkward. So the first...
That said, all the families in this episode... Which, spoiler, since the promo was awful, all of them seem pretty accepting of Becca.
Yeah, it always reveals something relatively dramatic, and in this case, there wasn't really a whole lot of drama.
There was a little bit towards the end, but besides that...
but just generally speaking, there wasn't a lot of drama this episode, which I was super surprised.
Yeah.
But the first date, of course, is with Garrett, since we always believe that Garrett has been a front runner. So he gets the first hometown date.
He does, and he takes Becca down to Harvest Moon Town.
Yes. We didn't know this about Garrett. We knew he was an outdoorsy type fella.
I had no idea, but he lives
grew
on like
up on a
farm.
Yeah, he said his parents were agricultural and they were farmers, I guess, and that's the way he grew up. So he takes her on a tractor or this weird planting machine.
Yeah, I think it's a combine of some sort. Yeah,
I don't know, where they plant tomato plants, and he's like over the moon happy with this situation, and he's asking Becca if she can visualize her life.
Yeah, okay, so that's what threw me. So Farm Dad turns to Becca, and he's basically like, so do you think you'd like this pace of life, doing this every day? That threw me for a loop, because what was Garrett's job on his Charon? Do you remember?
I have no idea.
I don't remember either. I'd have to look it up again.
It wasn't Farm Boy.
No, it definitely wasn't, which is why, like, that question threw me for a loop, because it doesn't seem like he'd adjust to that lifestyle, and it doesn't seem like she'd adjust to it either, because the thing is that once you're the Bachelor or Bachelorette, your career is being on People magazine, not planting tomatoes and selling them at your local market.
Exactly. So I'm not really sure.
It was cute. It was very cute, but like she was just like, yeah, absolutely. I'm like, Becca,
really?
Are you? Because that means waking up at like 6 a.m. every day and going out with your kids and doing chores.
And I'm sure they have farm hands and everything, but he was basically saying, like, our children should be on the farm, learning the value of hard work. And okay,
I can get behind it. Yeah,
I
sure.
can totally get behind that.
That is like a totally valid lifestyle for a lot of people.
Right,
but being on the most popular reality show in all of the United States of America, like...
And Becca grew up in Minneapolis, Minnesota, so it's just like she seems more like a city girl, or at least a suburban girl, not a country girl. And I'm not sure. Like, I don't know. Maybe he indicated that they would inherit the parents' farm or something. I don't know.
Maybe.
But they were somewhere in California. I don't remember the town.
They're in California.
It was rural California.
I did not remember that.
And the only reason I remember that, because I didn't see the tag in the beginning of the show that showed it was California, but she said to him, we're going to go to your hometown in California. So I know it's somewhere in California.
Yeah. Who knows where?
So basically their whole date, which usually the date includes a lot of variety about the upbringing of each of the fellas.
Yeah.
And this one was all farm.
It was pretty much all farm.
It was all farm.
Yeah.
And they had a picnic on the farm, and they were drinking out of paper cups. I don't know what they were drinking, but...
probably wine. They drink nothing but wine on this show.
Yeah, and she kept saying how Garrett's the salt of the earth guy.
This is like the Dionysus show.
Yeah, the salt of the earth.
Salt of the earth. Oh, he is. I mean, you can just chip the salt away from his outer crust and you'll expose nothing beneath, because the man's just a 6-foot salt lick.
Yeah, I never understood that expression.
I don't know. But anyways, yeah, so then they meet Garrett's family. Yeah, his parents. They meet. She says Garrett's brother looks just like him.
I don't think he looks like him.
He looks like him very much.
No. She's like, you guys are twins, and yeah, I didn't get that. I don't even know how many siblings Garrett has. It seems like he has quite a few.
Well, he lives on a farm.
But they never really outlined how many siblings
No, they didn't.
He has.
Okay, well, they always do this with families where it's like, you get the mom and the dad, and then you get a swarm of younger people who are like cousins or friends or
someone
siblings.
Who just wants to be on TV.
And then you have two like old people who you're not sure whether they wandered on set or whether they're grandparents.
Yeah, exactly.
That's kind of the outline of most families. They never go into it.
Yeah, it's really funny. But Garrett's sister pulled him aside. So, okay, the resounding theme of this entire episode was heartbreak.
Okay, yeah.
That was the resounding theme.
Oh my gosh, they had this conversation with like every single man.
Every man.
Are you right?
Yes, 100,000%. It was like, oh my gosh, he's had his heart broken. He was a broken man. It was so incredibly sad. He was suicidal, and we didn't know if he was going to make it. I mean, that was basically what we felt.
Yeah,
every single family conversation.
Which, I mean, I don't want to make too much light about, because they probably were really depressed after the breakup.
I get it. I understand. I think breaking up is just kind of a part of dating and relationships.
It is. But I've never seen a tone like this before, where all of the parents basically grabbed Becca by the collar, lifted her into the air, and said, "Don't hurt my boy."
Yeah.
It was very strange, which is odd because that was the edit Becca's getting this season too, of like, I've been hurt before, don't burn me again.
Yeah, and so I really felt it was almost overly pressed. And the problem with that is that when you have a relationship, you take the good with the bad, the beautiful with the ugly. It's just what happens. And relationships are way too complicated to like boil down to one thing. Yeah. You can't boil it down to like, okay, be in a relationship with my son, but don't hurt him. You can't boil it down to that one thing. And so I really felt that was the press, and that puts a lot of pressure on Becca because she's still dating 4 guys. Right. She's going to have to make a choice. Mm-hmm. Somebody's going to get hurt. Yeah. So Garrett's sister pulls him aside first. And now Garrett's backstory is he was married before. He was in an emotionally abusive relationship, I guess, with a woman who had anger issues. Uh-huh. And I think the whole family saw the transformation within Garrett, that he personally transformed into someone he wasn't. Yeah. Like, he lost all of his self-confidence. But I think
more than that, they said that even after the breakup, he was such a different person afterwards because of how much the relationship had changed him. What he'd gone through had changed him. Right. Which also, Garrett's earlier point last episode of, I'm never unhappy. Right. I'm always just up. Like, okay, come on, my guy. If you had a visible difference in your demeanor afterwards, that means that it affected you and that you do get down.
Definitely.
But I feel like him saying I never get down is kind of a residual of that, where he like tries so hard to be this like super cheerful person, whereas it might have been effortless before. I don't know.
Yeah, no, that makes total sense. The father talks to Becca and says that the mom is Mother Bear. And kind of like, you know...
He does say that.
Don't hurt, you know, she's going to be upset if you hurt her Garrett or whatever, because Garrett's the young one. And
she likes her porridge cold. She likes her bed firm. She is the mama bear.
Yeah, so I don't know. But I thought overall, I don't know, what did you get overall from Garrett's date?
I thought it was good. Okay, yeah. He has... It has not changed my view of him as the, like... husband character. Yeah. No, not frontrunner, but like husband character. Right. I do think he's a frontrunner, but holy crap, she likes Blake so much.
She likes Blake a lot.
We'll go over that in Blake's date too, but it's just inexplicable to me. Yeah. He does well, but I really do just feel like there's something we're not seeing. Yeah. I don't know. It's crazy.
So, I don't know. I mean, Garrett will be the caring husband. He will be
a finalist. That's
will be the man who makes the money, provides for his family, is a great dad. Like, he's the stable person. Yeah. He's definitely the stable person.
He is.
And he would be the safe choice for Becca.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we've kind of gotten this edit before of, like, with Rachel's season, where she's like, I'm between these 2 men. One of them is dangerous and sexy. Yeah. And the other is just, like, you know, the kind of guy I can see safety in. Yeah. And then it's always just kind of a choice between the 2. Right. I kind of feel that. They do tend to go for the more dangerous one, but I don't know.
Yeah, I kind of feel that too. So we'll see. We're not really sure where Becca stands with Garrett. We know she likes him a lot. I don't think Garrett has revealed that he loves her. He said he's falling in love, but he hasn't said I love you to her. Yeah. Next, we get to see Jason in Buffalo, New York.
Yeah, so what happens is, like, we get a cut to Buffalo, and then he takes her into this, like, TGI Fridays setting.
It's like a wing factory, almost.
Yeah, and then we just get, like, this 1-minute eating contest where Becca's, like, this meat princess slurping bones with a bunch of nobodies.
It's really funny. I was like, oh my gosh, he takes her to a meat eating contest? Like a wing eating contest?
It looks freaking rad, by the way. It made me really hungry, actually.
And, you know, he asks her about the mild sauce versus the buffalo sauce or something. She's just like, oh no, it has to be buffalo sauce in Buffalo, New York.
Yeah,
I was like, really?
And like no ranch or something like that.
That's where that came from? I had no idea buffalo sauce came from Buffalo, New York.
Well, no, it comes because it's made from buffaloes.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Did you actually?
No.
Okay.
No, I didn't think that. But I didn't know that the buffalo sauce that came with the hot wings is from Buffalo, New York. I didn't know that.
I never put 2 and 2 together.
No, I would not be that smart to actually put that together.
Plus, I'd have assumed it was a Southern thing, not like a New York thing. You know what I mean?
And so buffalo wing sauce, I take it, is very hot and spicy.
Have you never? You told me the other night that you liked buffalo sauce.
I like buffalo wing sauce that's like on salads. I don't like wings.
Well, then you've had buffalo wing sauce on salads before.
Hot.
It is hot. Yeah.
It's
I don't think it tastes great, but I don't think it's bad either. I mean, I'm very neutral on buffalo sauce. I prefer barbecue personally.
Can I tell you something that Becca said about Jason, and I guess during the date, that we didn't see because they didn't show that cut, and I thought that would have been really cute.
What?
So she was eating the buffalo wings, and she tells the family that during the buffalo wing eating contest that Jason was spreading blue cheese dressing all over her face. I would have loved to see that. Cute. I thought that would be a great cut, but maybe just because she didn't look pretty with blue cheese sauce all over her face, they didn't show it.
Oh, but like whatever, right?
I thought that would be so funny.
I think that'd be cute too.
That would be cute to see him doing that to her.
It'd be like also like real goofy couple stuff.
Yeah,
not like
really playful stuff.
Pretty couple sitting at a table and not eating the dinner in front of them.
Right,
stuff.
Exactly. Yeah, she looked way too dainty on a food eating contest.
Yeah. No, which is funny because then they cut to like one of the natives and they like opened their mouth and inhaled and 6 wings flew down their throat.
I would be afraid if I did that to like choke on a bone. I don't know. I could not do a food eating contest. That wouldn't be good for me.
I probably would choke on a bone.
Then Jason takes her to a hockey rink, and I guess...
Oh, yeah. He was like, hockey was my life.
Yeah,
I was like,
he said, like, I learned how to skate before I could learn how to walk, or something. I was
he was
like,
very intense about it, yeah.
I did not know this about Jason. I didn't know anything about Jason.
Nor I.
Except for he was a good kisser, because Becca's continually said that.
Yeah.
But no, I knew nothing about Jason. And in fact, Jason looks really hot and sexy on the ice skating rink.
Yeah, he's good at it. Really
what?
good.
Where did this come from?
Yeah, and then he and Becca played this cute little game where he was like, if I score on you, you owe me a kiss.
Yeah, it was really cute. It was adorable. It was like him like showing off his like strong sporty side, and I thought that was so adorable.
It was really nice, yeah. And then Mom turned to me and said, all right, well, Jason's definitely going to fantasy suites at this point. Oh, he is
so going to fantasy suites. He just showed his really, like, fun, sexy, smooth side, you know, to him. That we hadn't seen much of his personality.
No, we hadn't. But at the same time, because Becca did say to him last episode that he was kind of reserved in his affection towards her, and I kind of agree with her.
Right.
But this episode, he let it all hang out.
Yeah, it was
really,
nuts.
really worth it.
It was nuts, and it really made me think, like, wow, Jason could really be one of the finalists.
On another season, I think he has the potential to win.
Yeah, I mean, he was really, wow.
Yeah.
Like, I would even say that if I were Becca, I would go for him over Garrett.
Over Garrett, really?
Yeah, I would. Oh. If it were my choice. Like,
maybe we need a second round of that. Which boy would you pick mini game we did.
Yeah, I just saw a side of Jason where I was like, yeah, you know, he just seems like an amazing person. So we go home, we see Mom, Dad. Well, he was talking to Becca before they went about 2 couples that were really, really important in his life.
Uh-huh.
His mom and dad, and his brother Steven and Steven's husband.
Oh, yeah.
And he said, those are the 2 strongest couples I know on the planet.
Yeah. And he said watching them as I grew up, I wanted to take that into a model of my own relationships.
Right. And he just felt like he needed their approval with Becca in order to move forward, because he felt like they had such a strong foundation that if they were able to pick up on anything, or if they were able to see the strengths in his relationship with Becca, that he would move forward.
Yes.
So I totally respected that.
Yeah, no, I did too. I also think that Jason did not as much get a do not hurt my son or I'll kill you edit.
Right. They were like super nice about it.
They were really nice. Yeah, and then she spoke with his brother and his brother's husband.
Yeah.
And they were both really sweet to Becca. They were telling, not Blake, what's his name? Jason, how much they liked Becca and whatnot. Yeah.
It was really nice. And one thing I like about Jason, and this kind of worked to his detriment last episode, but one thing that I like about Jason, and the parents actually confirmed this, is that Jason is very reserved about jumping to fast decisions. And he will not put it all out there, and he will not like make a rash decision if he's not feeling it. And I really respect that, because a lot of times if you're playing in this show, if you're playing the game well, you're moving forward too fast, or like it can get you points because you're making rash decisions and you're moving forward and you're saying I love you and you're moving. And yes, he needs to be up front, but at the same time, it's more genuine.
Yeah, totally. I mean, okay, here's the thing, though, is that with the way the show's pace works, this is like his second or third date
right.
with Becca. Would you say you love someone on your second or third date with them?
Probably not.
Probably not. Like, he has known her for a while now, but she is still this kind of, like, fantasy woman in his mind.
Right.
Where he hears about her constantly, but only gets to talk to her once in a blue moon.
Right.
So that being the case, I can totally understand why someone would be hesitant to be as upfront with their feelings because they're trying to play it by real relationship pace.
Right.
That said, he does adjust, and he says "I love you" to her in like a super duper romantic way. He takes her out on the deck.
Oh my god,
he
was amazing!
It's
Gosh,
so nice.
It was so nice. So at the end of the hometown date, he does reveal his feelings for her, and he says, "I'm falling in love with you," or does he say, "I'm in love with you"?
I think he says, "I'm in love with you."
Yeah.
He says, "I'm really, really in love with you."
But he has like an amazing way to build up to
he
say
does,
it.
yeah, and he also doesn't do the "I do love you."
Yeah, like
he does the.
It's like really. He just basically says, you know, like, every time I'm with you, like, I don't want you to go away, and every time
I'm not around you, I'm thinking about you.
When I wake up in the morning and I go to bed, like, you're on my mind. Like, it's just, like, this really romantic, super genuine.
It was so nice,
yeah. It was really, really nice.
It didn't feel scripted in the slightest, like Jean Blanc's lines did. It felt very, very good.
No, it did not feel scripted. It felt really good, and that's why I think my opinion of Jason changed for the better.
Yep.
After this hometown date.
Yeah.
I was like, what?
Hey. Jason for Batch?
Yeah?
Jason for Batch.
Jason is the Bachelor.
Do you think?
Yeah. I think he's a real possibility.
I think he's definitely in the running.
He's a real possibility, yeah.
He's a good character.
He's smart. He's sexy. He's
charismatic enough to do well with it. Yeah.
He's fun.
It's either going to be him or it's going to be... Oh man, if she picks,
it wouldn't be like if she doesn't pick Blake. I don't think Blake would be a good Bachelor.
I don't either. Well, okay, we both have personal feelings.
Yeah, he just doesn't. Well, the thing is, he just doesn't have the Bachelor personality. I think.
My concern is that he does actually.
Oh really?
I think he's actually bland enough to be the Bachelor. Because Ari was not that spicy.
That's
true. He
had
a cool job, but
Ari was pretty boring.
Ari was like an 80-year-old man in a 40-year-old man
like,
bag.
I didn't understand that. Okay, so if you didn't see Ari's season, the weird dichotomy about Ari is that he was a race car driver by trade. That was his profession. So normally you think of race car drivers, you think risky, sexy, on the edge, edgy.
And he had this reputation for being like this amazing kisser. And
yeah,
and then
like
this sex
when
pot.
you saw him on the show, now he's a retired race car driver and he's a real estate agent now. When you see him on the show, he was wearing like Mr. Rogers sweaters. And saying he liked to read the newspaper, eat dinner at 5, and go to bed by 8.
Yeah, and he was like, that's what I see our life is like.
What?
It was very weird. It was crazy.
It was almost like The Incredibles, you know, like Mr. Incredible. Wesley's like the accountant guy, you know? Like... He goes from superhero to being the accountant.
Okay, it'd be like The Incredibles, but if instead of hating his job, Mr. Incredible loved being an insurance rep.
Yes.
And just did that for the rest of the movie.
That's the way we viewed Ari.
Yeah, it was pretty whack. But anyways, so back to that's where Jason's date ends, more or less.
It was beautiful.
It was really nice.
It was a nice date.
Jason had the best date out of all four of them.
I think so too. I really liked it.
Which is good since he was the hesitant.
Right, pick for Becca. She wasn't sure.
And we basically thought that this episode would be between Jason and Colton.
Right.
Now, we'll talk about Colton's date after a while, but next is Blake's date.
Blake's date, and they go to Colorado. They go to, let's see, there were 2 dates in Colorado.
Yeah, Blake says that high school was really important for him.
We go to Bailey, Colorado, and we couldn't figure out why, but...
Well, he had kind of a formative experiment.
There were a couple stories, surrounding his high school. Blake meets her, and he takes her immediately to his hometown high school. And he said he grew up there because his mom worked at the high school, right? So that's where he grew up. And he kind of showed her his, like, what was it, Hall of Fame photo of him being a football player.
He looked like such a dweeb. She was like, I'd have a major crush on you back in high school. I'm like, really?
What?
Oh my gosh, I don't know.
Yeah, that's so funny. I thought that too. And then I thought, like, okay, they knew he was in the Hall of Fame, but, like, did he do something to get into the Hall of Fame? Or was it just, like, let's slap a picture of Blake with his football uniform in this Hall of Fame
That's a good point.
To show
Maybe,
Becca, it's like, what?
Or it's like, oh, here's me winning the Great British Bake Off, and it's you holding a cake you made at home. And yeah. Maybe it's just a producer.
Yeah. So you know what I thought was so funny is that Blake walks into this high school and he's taking her around and he's like, oh, I haven't been here in 6 or 7 years. And then he's like, oh, I'm going to run into all my old teachers and coaches here. And they sort of walk into these empty classrooms where they have these teachers and coaches. What's so funny is that they're all wearing the sweatshirt, t-shirt, or jacket with the school logo on it. And I'm like, yeah, what are the chances that you walk into a high school and every single teacher and coach is wearing...
Yeah. I went to Oakton High School do you know how many people were wearing Oakton Cougars shirts or sweaters?
How many?
Literally 0.
Yeah.
Every day, all day, nobody.
Right. Yeah, and the teachers don't show up wearing
Maybe the PE teachers wore tracksuits with the logo on it, but all the teachers dress like people. None of them wore rowdy cougs ready to get it started. It's just it's such a fantasy world to think about where they do that. It was so
funny. And then it's he walks into the English classroom and he's like, Mr. Jones, I haven't seen you in so long. And, it's just so funny. I'm like, okay, this is so scripted. They planted the teachers there. They planted the coaches there.
Yeah. It was still kind of sweet just to see because I did like my high school and it'd be fun to see my old teachers again. I don't know if I'd be as attached to them as Blake was.
Yeah, it was really
funny. Or if
funny.
they'd even remember me when I was Blake's age.
Exactly.
I don't know.
And then Blake takes her into the library and they sit down and he's like, there's something I haven't told you. I really need to tell you something. And you should see Becca's face every time anybody says that.
Becca has this look in her eyes where she begs for death. It's very, very awful.
It's really crazy. It's any of the boys that tell her I have something serious to tell you.
She has this deer in the headlights look where her face drops and she just stares at them intently. Yeah.
It's
very weird.
She has a very serious look when she's about to receive information.
Yeah. But yeah, Blake basically talks about how there was a school shooting at his school and how afraid he was, and he goes through
he said he was afraid too because his mom was in the building and his little sister was in the building at the same time.
Yeah.
And they were all in separate parts of the building, and they didn't know if everyone was going to be okay. And
yeah, and apparently one student did die, and they still have kind of some school slogans surrounding the student, things like that. And he basically said that, that experience made him really value his life based off of that.
Right.
And I can see that being a really formative thing for him.
Yeah, especially if it happens during your formative years. I mean, I think that it happens at any time, but especially during your formative years.
Yeah.
And, and then he reiterated about his mom's divorce and how public it was. So I think Becca really respects him for everything that he's been through, but also for, being upfront and honest with her about everything. And I think she likes that. She wants that. She wants that vulnerability.
Definitely.
And it's that type of vulnerability that will definitely gain you points on the show because
for sure.
They really want that. But she just seems to be so into Blake.
Yeah, I know she does.
Then he does. Then he takes her to the
auditorium.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god! So he takes her to the auditorium and there's a ton of people and I'm like, what is this? Is this some kind of
pep rally?
I didn't say pep rally. I said high school reunion of all the old classmates.
I thought
that was not
too.
The case though.
No.
It was a concert by everyone's favorite weird music widow, Betty Who.
Who?
Who's Betty Who? Okay,
Who is Betty Who?
Hand to God, Bachelor and Bachelorette makes up these people. They're fan. I feel when you're watching Star Wars and it's welcome the famous Z-Glurp, and everyone's like, yeah, Z-Glurp. Yeah. That's what I feel when I'm watching The Bachelorette, because I have no idea who these people are. It's like hopping in the middle of a book.
Right. It's very strange. And then The Bachelor Bachelorette is always Betty Who? That's my favorite artist of all time.
I died when I walked in and I saw Betty Who.
What?
Her music, it sounds like music on the Joanne song loop. It's not even
really?
that good.
Yeah. But what's weird is that Becca knew the lyrics to all the songs she was singing.
Yeah.
So I guess Becca genuinely knew who Betty Who was.
I think she does. I don't think it's a joke. I honestly think it's us. I think we're just uncultured.
We just live under a rug somewhere.
Yeah.
If it was Katy Perry, I would be like, oh, Katy Perry.
I think that's a big get. But yeah, I do get you where, some people have a lot of name recognition. And if they can nab Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis on the show, they can probably get JT or someone like that on.
So I don't understand, but
Whatever.
I don't know. She loved it. She was like, that was the best gift ever.
Yeah, no, she was really into it.
She was totally into it.
Which I guess, it was also good because if it was on, I don't know whether Blake orchestrated it or if he asked the producers to orchestrate it.
Or maybe Betty Who is actually from his hometown or something. You know what I mean? Because a lot of times they'll get local artists that grew up or came from that town.
Yeah,
so.
But, as little time as you get with the guy, if they know you well enough to arrange your favorite singer coming in, it's a good look. It was probably the producers, though.
It was probably the producers. I doubt Blake has that much pull.
Either way, spending time with him in the environment of one of the best moments of your life, I assume, if she's your favorite music artist, then it's still pretty good.
Yeah, definitely.
So she dances with Blake, and we mentioned this before, but Blake is
an amazing dancer.
Yeah.
Totally amazing.
So then they go to Blake's house. Blake is also getting a weird edit.
Yeah, so it's weird because, I think his dad was there too, which is weird because his mom and his dad are divorced. He kept telling her that she's going to meet his stepdad, but it seemed like Blake's dad was there too. Because Blake's dad does talk to Blake.
Oh, yeah? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Huh.
Then they all say about Blake's heartbreak, but I don't remember Blake's backstory.
Okay, exactly.
Do you remember Blake's backstory?
Yes, and this wasn't mentioned. He only ever talked about his mom and her divorce.
Right.
Because in the Sledgehammer episode, I don't think
he didn't talk
much.
Did
he? Maybe he did.
I don't
During
know.
dinner?
Maybe he did.
God, that date was nothing. Okay, because you were telling me how memorable and how passionate that date was. It was a very nothing date to me.
The kiss date at the end. Like, at the end, when they were walking out of the venue, I felt like they were smooching a lot.
But anyways, so they basically are talking about this heartbreak that Blake has had.
Right.
And how much it affected him and how horrible it was. Yeah, it's...
I just don't remember. Like, I remember vaguely that he said he fell in love fast. It was a fast falling in love, and he asked her to marry him fast or something. There was something I remember that it was a fast relationship, and he made too many rash decisions or something like that.
Yeah, but his family was saying he fell into like a really deep depression afterwards.
Yeah.
And that they hated seeing him go through that. And if Becca does that to him, they'll skin her alive. And
basically.
Same edit that Garrett got.
Yeah.
And guess who else is going to get that edit but Colton again.
Is going to get that too, yeah.
It was the same story 3 times, which is crazy to me
4
because
times.
like...
Well, no, 3 times, because I guess Jason didn't really get that because...
I guess we just have a lot of like sensitive, hurtable boys on the show.
I don't know. Blake's mom seemed really supportive, but Blake's dad was giving him a reality check. Like, Blake's dad was like,
yes,
look, you can be hurt again. What's going to happen to you then? You know?
There's a very real possibility that you'll get cut.
Right.
Which there isn't, but...
At this point, there isn't. We don't know.
Yeah.
Right? Right now, and even Becca repeated... Blake is my strongest relationship.
Yeah, she said it.
She repeated that,
well,
right?
she not only repeated that, she said, I am in love with Blake, but I have not told him yet.
Yeah.
She did not say that about Garrett.
Any other guys.
She did not say that about Jason.
She did not say that about
She will not say that about Colton.
But she hasn't said about anybody else but Blake.
I know, yeah, it's so weird. I
don't know what's gonna happen.
Yeah, it's crazy.
We were so certain that Garrett was gonna win.
I totally was. Because,
but now we don't know.
From the edit he's getting... I'd pick Garrett, which either tells me that she has some really good chemistry with Blake, or that just we're not seeing something.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because I can see chemistry between them, I really can, but at the same time, it's just...
Yeah, I know you don't like looking at his face. I know.
There's a moment during the rose ceremony where he looks like Kylo Ren got put into a panini press and like squeezed up. Anyways.
We're so bad. Okay, we don't want to do this, but
okay.
But sometimes, I mean, you have to look at practicality. You have to look at like, okay, I'm gonna look at this person every day.
I mentioned this during the show though. I really don't think he is an unattractive man because he's not. But it's that he's not a conventionally attractive man.
Yeah, and Garrett's very attractive.
Right. It's the matter of
very
like
attractive. So I think Jason is too. He wears his hair weird, but
and maybe Becca's just really into him.
Yeah.
But it's the matter of when you've got like rippling muscles, supermodel man on the show, and then they keep him on for no reason. It's kind of like, oh, okay, sure, yeah, he looks like a god when he's oiled up. Yeah. Of course you're gonna keep him on the show. But then when you have like a guy that looks, pretty average and who kisses you well and dances well, I don't see why you want to keep that on the show above the other guys who are like, Jason's date was like 10, 10, 10, 10, and he's kind of a sex pot.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know either.
We'll see. Time for a segment, though.
Yeah, let's do it.
So this segment is going to be kind of loosely arranged, but how would we react if our son/daughter was on The Bachelor and brought to our house for hometowns?
Okay, so I'd have to visualize my children, and for which child would it be a reality?
Oh, yeah? Okay. Oh, that's a good point.
I say my youngest.
Xavier?
Okay. Yeah, he's my youngest. He's only 14 now.
Yep.
But he's very social.
Yeah.
And he's a little bit of a show-off.
I
could see him being on The Bachelor,
I think he'd be a very, very good Bachelor contestant. Or Bachelorette contestant, right?
Yeah, he would be good.
Yeah.
He's competitive, too.
Yeah. But, okay.
But if that was the case, I'm trying to say is I'd have to visualize it first to understand if that was the case. Oh, you know what? Here's the thing. I would be supportive, but I would think that it wasn't necessarily a good idea.
Yeah. So kind of like hesitantly
supportive. Meaning, like, if he came to me and he said, I'm a finalist on this show called The Bachelorette, and here's the gal.
Yeah.
What do you think? And all that. Should I get engaged at the end of the show?
That's not a question. It's
right?
Do you approve of me getting engaged to this person?
Yeah. I mean, of course I would say, like, it's your decision.
Would you give them a good once over, though? Would you, like, try to judge it based on the contestant? Or would you just say, no matter who it is, if you've known them this little time?
Yeah, I would just say, I mean, here's the thing, is that I'm the type of person that believes in romance and love at first sight. Like, I totally believe in the fantasy.
How did the statistics support you on that in terms of Batch?
Not very well, but that being said, it does take time to get to know someone. It does take time. So, like, I think I would say, if as part of the show you need to get engaged, I would say keep the engagement long enough that you can get to know them.
Yeah, that makes sense.
How about you?
Well, that's a trick question, because if my son or daughter got accepted on The Bachelorette, I would kidnap them in a windowless van and take them away. Because it sucks. Like, that's the thing, is, like, it's all just, like, drinking and hanging out with shallow Hollywood-type people. I do get, though, that there is kind of this reaction of, like, if your parent doesn't approve of them... I mean, everyone on the show says family is important, but it depends on how old they are, I think. Because, like, think about, like, Becca, who went on, like, a weed-smoking trip once she got kicked off of Ari's season.
And we're not talking about Becca. We're not talking about this Becca. We're talking about the other Becca.
But I feel like if her parents said they don't approve of a guy, she'd be like, screw you,
it.
Dad. I'm going for it. Yeah.
Exactly.
I don't think... I think I'd be one of those parents that's like... What are you doing? This sucks. Exactly. Stop. Get off the show. Find a real boyfriend. I don't know.
Yeah, I can imagine that. That makes sense. That makes total sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's funny. I don't know. It's really hard.
I'd get the villain edit. I'd be the bad parent.
That's good, though. I mean, sometimes you just have to be, right?
Yeah.
I think that's more reality.
Yeah, maybe.
That's more reality.
I definitely think it is. But at the same time, because, you know, they do kind of have this Disney princess scene where they come in and the parents are like, oh, I love them. They're wonderful. They're perfect for you. And they're like, thank you. You have my blessing.
Exactly.
But anyways, all right, let's move on to Colton's date then. All right,
so Colton, well, it was weird. In the promos, we got this really crazy dramatic cut of what Colton's date might be like.
Yeah,
so we were expecting a lot of drama.
Well, okay, no. One of the parents says, I don't think you should keep my son on the show anymore.
Yeah.
And then, like, you know, there's a bunch of cuts of, like, I don't think they're ready for this. Then it cuts to Tia. And Tia's like, I have something horrible to tell you. So none of this happened so far during the other three boys' dates.
Right, so we figured it had to be Colton's date.
And if Colton's date goes badly, we're like, the others went amazingly. He's obviously going to get cut.
Right.
So here's what happens. They go to Parker, Colorado.
Right.
Yeah, and Colton takes her to...
Gosh, I can't remember. Totally don't remember.
So we meet Colton's parents. Basically, Colton's dad talks to him and says, so you've talked her over about the stuff with Tia, right? Which, like...
So we didn't understand that because we were under the impression that Tia had one date with Colton.
Not only that, like... Well, why the hell does his dad care? Because the thing is that unless his dad and he are really close, he went on like 2 or 3 dates with Tia. Why would he tell his dad that?
Right.
Why would his dad know? Why would his dad need to ask about that unless he knew they were on the same franchise? It just feels because Blake's not allowed to talk to his dad during
the whole filming.
Season.
Yeah, during the whole filming, they're not allowed to talk to their parents or anybody for that matter.
So, like, how would he say the Bachelorette's best friends with a girl I dated briefly in the past?
So that was prompted by the
absolutely
producers.
Producer intervention.
Yeah, it was totally prompted.
He asked his son, so you told her about Tia, and then he says yes, and he says, well, have you talked to her about Ari yet? And he says, no. But then Mom and I said, why is this necessary? There's a whole season of televised
drama about
their entire relationship.
And the entire breakup.
Yeah.
It just makes no sense at that point. Right. You're like, what? Where's this coming from?
Yeah, so then what do you think about the interaction between his dad and Becca afterwards?
Well, I'm more focused on the mom and Colton together.
Really? Oh, what happened there?
Well, so it was kind of weird because the mom was saying, like, Colton has never really been in love, that he's never really dated much.
Yeah.
And that he... he's kind of like on the younger path as far as relationships go.
Right.
And she said, but I've never seen Colton happier. She says all of this. And then when she's talking to Colton, I guess he reveals to his mom that he is a virgin. But the thing is that in the follow-up conversation with Becca...
Yeah.
With the mom, it seemed like the mom was learning this for the first time.
It did.
Because she sort of said, like, my son talked to me about...
Yeah, he said he didn't tell his dad. Which I guess, like, that reveals of how public the show is. And when you talk about something, how much it gets out. And, like, your parents just see you being drunk and dumb on the show, basically.
It's just, like, weird that he would open up about that on camera...
In front of millions
of
people.
And in front of millions of people
that's sad.
When he hasn't told his dad.
At least he told his mom and dad before they found out from the show.
Right.
Because that would be the worst
that would be so embarrassing.
So that's probably why he told them is what I'm thinking.
Yeah, exactly. So then he has a couch talk with his dad.
Oh yeah, and she's like, these are things we don't talk about with your son, obviously. And I'm like, you don't talk about your son's sex life with him? Like, it's important-ish, right?
Yeah, I guess so. Meaning, like, I guess it just depends on the relationship that you have with your parents.
Yeah, I mean, that's not something I'd be uncomfortable with discussing with you, though.
Yeah, the thing is, like, it's a personal choice. Yeah, it's a personal choice, and I think it's almost better to be on that end of things than being on things like, I slept with 5 women this weekend. You know what I mean? Like, if that's... I don't know. I'm saying it's better to be like, I'm saving myself for that special relationship.
Oh, no, I'm talking about with talking to people, though.
No, I'm saying to the parents.
Oh, to the parent. Yes,
that's a more comfortable conversation to have, right?
So the fact that they seemed uncomfortable about that is what's weird to me.
Yeah, exactly. And I was thinking, like, I think if I knew my son was just, like, running around having sex with everyone...
That would be
a more uncomfortable conversation, right?
Absolutely,
So
absolutely.
He sits down with his dad... And Colton's dad is a little more pragmatic.
Very pragmatic.
So you might want to tell a little bit about that couch talk.
I had strong opinions about this couch talk between Colton's dad and Becca. So I mentioned before that his dad was telling him, I don't know how comfortable I feel about Becca and Ari, since that was also a big part of their life, and she never really opened up to you about that, and I've seen you hurt before.
Right.
Because Colton was
and
also
getting he kind of also said to him, like, this just happened. Like, the thing between Becca and Ari just happened.
Yeah. Which I kind of see, and I do feel like whatever relationships comes out of this might feel a little bit like a rebound in a sense, where she just wants to get back to dating quickly. But what do I know? The preceding conversation with Becca and Colton's dad is that he essentially says to her, why haven't you spoken to my son about you and Ari? I feel like you haven't been open about that. And she says,
She says, and then she also says, "Oh, that's kind of a good point."
Yeah. I guess that makes sense.
I mean, the whole preface for the entire season of The Bachelorette was surrounded with Ari.
That's true. So I feel like Colton's dad is really scared of him getting hurt by another relationship. So he basically tells Becca, if you are uncertain about your feelings for my son, then you should not give him a rose.
Like, kick him off the show.
Yeah, like, let him go.
Yeah.
Now, okay, here's the thing about that. I get it. It is a very reasonable, okay thing to say.
Right.
That said, they are never certain until the finale, usually, and even then, as we've seen with Ari, there is a lot of uncertainty there.
Right.
So the fact that she has 4 boys, for all of whom she really likes, but one of whom had their parents say, if you're not sure about who to pick, cut off my son.
Right.
that gives you such an easy out, because then you can say to them, I was speaking to your dad.
And the dad's not okay with this.
Yeah, or basically the dad said, unless I'm sure I'm going to pick you, I should have you leave, and I'm not sure I'm going to pick you.
Right.
So, like, to me, that was
that was an easy out.
That was not only easy out, that was like, oh, for sure, Colton is now getting cut. Because if I was in that situation as Becca, and if someone said, basically, that they're going to get pissed off at me if I don't cut their kid, and if I break their kid's heart, then I'm going to do it.
Right.
She gets further motivation, however, after Colton's date.
Yeah, it was so crazy. So actually, this date with Colton, Becca really liked, and I feel like she genuinely likes Colton.
She does. No, she really does. I'm not saying that she doesn't.
I think she's very enamored with the fact that he's very attractive.
Yeah.
She's enamored with the fact that...
even though we don't remember anything that happened on the date.
No, I don't remember anything. She's enamored with the fact that he is... He's a very open guy. He's very upfront with his feelings.
Yeah, he is, and he's
really genuine.
He got all the drama out of the way early, where he was very honest with
kids with disabilities with cystic fibrosis.
They did. That's right.
They met his niece who has cystic fibrosis, and they brought arts and crafts to them.
They played arcade games with them and things like that. That was very cute. Happened. Yes. Okay. Now I remember. Mea culpa. It slipped my mind. It was a pretty memorable.
It was memorable.
Section. I just don't remember why.
I don't know. My mind blanked out.
Completely slipped my mind. Yeah, I think it's because the show is usually engineered flirty, sexy dates.
Right.
And while this wasn't that, it was very important. But I think it felt so out of place that my brain probably was just like, it wasn't dumb and fun.
And I think what clouded it was the drama that happened after.
Yeah, definitely.
So Becca meets with her 5 girlfriends, which were all candidates from Ari's season.
Yeah.
So, of course, there was Kendall, Tia, Becca with an H, another lady that we don't know her name.
Shauna and Janice or whatever.
Yeah, it's like Catherine and, I don't know.
Savannah?
No, I know what
you're... an S.
I know. I want to say her name's Serene, but it's something like that.
Oh, yeah, it is something like that.
Sienna.
Thank you.
And
Caroline or whatever.
So Becca's talking about her finalists to the girls.
She is.
She was naming all the dates with all the 4 finalists, and she's about to talk about Colton when Tia interrupts her and she says, "Can I pull you aside?"
Yeah, we have this relatable moment where when you're just sitting with your friends and then one of them says, Can I take you over into the hallway and talk to you for a moment? And everyone else is fine with it. And they sit and stare at each other in silence until you come back.
Okay, this never happens.
It's lunacy. It's like space alien garbage.
It never, ever happens. If you're sitting with a bunch of girlfriends and one girl says, "Hey, girl, I have a problem with the fact that you're dating so-and-so," they just say it in front of everybody.
Or, if you're sitting with anyone, I've never had anyone pull me aside into the hallway and tell me something in private. Okay, if Tia texted her about it or something while they were all sitting...
She can't have her cell phone, right?
Oh, crap, you're right.
Yeah, they can't have cell phones.
But it was just the most Bachelor BS ever. We're like, "Can I pull you away?"
Yeah.
And they're like, "Yes, of course.
But then Tia did the same thing, or no, Becca did the same thing during the date when Tia was there, remember?
Yeah, not only that, but one of the boys' sisters did that to him. They're like, "So, can I pull you away?" And then he just picked them up and ran them out of the dining room.
Exactly.
Anyways, whatever. It's crazy.
Tia was saying to Becca, "It just makes me sick. I'm so sick to my stomach. I'm so sick to my stomach." And then she says, "I still like Colton."
Yeah, it makes me feel bad that you've still got Colton on the show. I didn't think your relationship would progress this far.
And then it flashes to the girls that are sitting back in that family room, living room, wherever they were.
Yeah.
And Kendall's saying, "Tia keeps texting to me that she's sick to her stomach every day."
Jeez, it's a lot.
The one thing, we talked about this a little bit.
Yeah.
Is it okay, and guys, leave comments, is it okay to date someone that one of your best friends dated briefly? Is that okay?
I mentioned this before. I'm fine with it. Now, listen, here's the thing, though, is that Tia did a backpedal here that I think is kind of crappy.
Right.
Because she said, "It's totally okay for you to date Colton. I'm fine with it." And then afterwards, she's like, "All of a sudden, I've rekindled my feelings for Colton." Even though Becca now knows Colton better than Tia does.
Right. She spent way more time with Colton because you got to remember, these dates are like intensive dates on steroids.
Yeah, so why would you also risk this very strong friendship that they have for some guy that you don't know at all? Now, Mom was putting a spin on this, why would you sacrifice your relationship for the friendship? But I think it's more, why would Tia put her friendship on the line for some dude she barely knows?
Exactly. And who knows if Colton, I was going to say Jason, who knows if Colton has those same feelings for Tia? We don't know because from what we saw at Hometowns, Colton is in love with Becca.
Yeah.
And his parents even noticed it. His parents were like, we've never seen Colton happier.
Absolutely,
like, we've never seen him more in love. And he's so in love. Edit. And now, so it's really crazy that...
Granted.
Why would Tia try to take that away from him?
Okay. I think one reason might be, if I were Tia, you're not allowed to see the Bachelor footage because it's unedited and, she doesn't know what's going on. I think I would share my concerns with Becca maybe in a less direct way, because if Becca gets married to Colton, how hard would that be for Tia if she still had feelings for him?
Yeah.
Now, I think she'd get over him pretty quickly because, again, 1 or 2 dates. Mm-hmm. But, I don't know, whatever.
It's really silly.
It's a very nothing drama.
Yeah, insert. And we kind of think, too, that maybe this was a little bit of a push from Bachelor producers because we predict that Tia and Colton will both be on Bachelor in Paradise.
Oh, they absolutely will. Okay, like, where has it ever been where... if there's a potential for a relationship or relationship drama to occur, that it has not afterwards been brought onto BIP.
Right.
So
that's what we think. Obviously, Becca is thrown for a loop.
And she's mad.
She's mad. She's really upset because she's like, I built this relationship with Colton, and I don't want to disrespect my best friend or one of my best friends. But Tia's bringing
this up now.
And she should have brought it up before when I addressed it in the beginning of the whole series. So... we don't really know. We don't even, going into the rose ceremony, we thought Colton was going to get cut the entire time, but we didn't know what she was going to do. We're like, okay, does she cut Colton because of what Tia said? Does she not cut Colton because of what Tia said?
Right, that was kind of my suspicion, was like, maybe she was leaning more towards Jason at first, but after hearing Tia, she's like, no, screw you. I'm not going to cut a boy just because you told me to. I'm going to keep him on.
Right. So we really didn't know.
Unsure. So the boys all walk into this big cathedral.
Oh, it's so funny.
And then Colton pulls Chris Harrison aside and he's like, Chris Harrison? Chris? Dad? What's the situation vis-a-vis... Fantasy Suites. What am I required to do?
Yeah, what are the expectations? What do I have to do?
Am I contractually obligated? Second base? Is second base all? Am I contractually obligated to have sexual relations with this woman?
It was so funny.
It was hilarious. And then Chris is basically like, whatever you two agree on, that's fine. I'm
like, how does Chris answer that?
Right? Also, jumping the gun a little bit there, he's assuming he's going to Fantasy Suites. Which... rose ceremony occurs. The first rose is given to
Blake, which I knew.
Obviously.
It was going to Blake. She says, I love you, Blake, inside of her heart.
The second rose
went to Jason.
Yeah.
And we did not expect that.
That threw me for a loop because...
we totally did not expect that.
Okay, her feelings seem strong for Garrett, but I don't know if she likes Garrett as much as we like Garrett is the thing. I really don't.
Know.
I think if it's between Blake and Garrett, actually probably
Blake is
Blake.
Gonna win.
I think Blake might friggin' win.
I know.
I don't know. Anyway, so then it's between Garrett and Colton, and with all the drama surrounding Colton,
we knew Colton was a goner.
Colton's dad saying you could cut him. We
knew it. At that point, we're like, she's not letting go of Garrett.
No,
there's no way.
Not. No, of course she's not. Plus, like, also, in this show, it's always best to shed the baggage as early as you can. And the thing with Colton is that she's going to spend the rest of her life with him. She seems very close to Tia. That'll interfere with her relationship with Tia.
Right, exactly.
And also...
but Colton's a sticky wicket because he's so young, because he's a virgin... because he's only had like one half of a relationship in his whole life.
At the same time, though, I don't want to really devalue that. And
I'm not devaluing. I'm just saying life experience. Period.
But he seems like a wise person. Like the volunteer, the fact that he volunteers for a nonprofit and all that he seems really close to. Right. That takes a lot of maturity and self-sacrifice when you're that young.
Definitely.
It definitely does.
Yeah. I don't know. I think Colton would be a great husband. I think
for someone else, apparently,
I think he needs a couple of years, though. I think he needs a couple of years of maturity, maybe life experience as far as relationships go.
Well, we'll see him on BIP, so.
Yeah, exactly. So we're not sure, but Colton did get cut, so the 3 guys that are going to Fantasy Suites are Blake, Garrett, and sexy Jason, who the girl said
I think it was
Jason.
Becca. I would think it was my Becca that said... oh, she was like, Jason's the best kisser. And then other Becca was like, oh, you really have to get him to Fantasy Suites.
I know. I thought that was hilarious.
Park your shoes under his bed any day.
Exactly. Oh, my gosh.
Yeah. So next episode is Sexapalooza.
Fantasy Suites. Sexapalooza. Okay, let's explain this for the last minute of the podcast.
We kind of explained it in the first rules episode. But
okay. Let's reiterate because they may not remember.
Maybe.
Fantasy Suites is an opportunity for the contestants to be off camera and off microphone.
For the first time
since meeting each other for an entire night.
Yes. So
they go in, they have a date, and if the date goes well, they get a little key to a room.
And a note from Chris Harrison
saying, if you make the decision to forego your individual quarters, a joint quarter will be open to you.
Fantasy suite will be provided to you. That's right. Oh, I forgot you memorized that.
And
oh my gosh.
They can say yes or no.
Yeah. Well, okay. They almost always say yes. Because even if Becca's uncertain, it's a chance to talk to them personally.
So a lot of times, everyone thinks it's the sexisode.
It mostly is. We mostly get a cut the next morning of like a sweaty, shirtless man
all over the floor.
Yeah, and like shoes on the bed and like whatever. Anyways.
And I don't know.
But sometimes it's
an opportunity to talk. It's an opportunity to talk and ask the really hard questions
that they can't ask in front of a camera.
That you can't ask in front of a camera.
Because it is a show, and I bet at some points they want to ask do you actually like me, or are you putting on a show?
Right. Or would you really be willing to quit your job and move to Kansas
and become a farmer with me?
Garrett. It's like, well, no, I don't want to quit my job and become a farmer.
I said that to stay on the show.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's the time when they really have to ask the tough questions.
Oh yeah, no, it's crazy.
Yeah, so it's really cherished time together because they're not mic'd.
It's a big episode.
Yeah.
Plus, not to mention, I feel like it's a very good episode before finals because the boys that come out of Fantasy Suites, they're usually really, really, really good dates.
Yeah.
Like I remember during Rachel's season, Fantasy Suites was all time. I don't remember it during
Ari's season.
Yeah. But, yeah.
Well, so get ready. Episode's Monday night. I'm really excited for this one.
Yeah, break out the lube.
PG-13. We're going to put
this one's going to be PG-16.
We are really excited to talk to you guys about Fantasy Suites that happen. I like all three guys. Blake, like I said, he's not our front runner, but I like all three guys.
I'm so very curious about Blake,
curious too.
I'm curious about him in the sense that since he's not my pick, it's very strange to see what Becca's going to do with him.
Yeah, I think so too. I guess this will be the telltale to find out who the two finalists are after that.
Hint, Garrett and Blake.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Probably. I don't know. I want Jason. So I'm thinking Jason's going to be number
Jason
2.
Too, but
he's going to be number 2, maybe?
She went on a 3-on-1. I don't that's usually means she's uncertain.
See, now I'm Team Jason.
Yeah, well, we'll see. All right, anyways, we'll catch you guys next time.
Thanks. Please subscribe to us and love us and send us to your friends. We love you.
Love you too. Bye.